Watch the trip hazard. Hello. It's an absolute privilege to be able to welcome you all to this beautiful Mayor's Parlour today to celebrate International Women's Day 2025. The day is on Saturday this week, on the 8th, but there's a whole week of things taking place across Southampton, of which we're kickstarting the whole kit and caboodle. I think we've got a really amazing lineup of speakers once again this year, and it's always heartens me that we ask people to come and people come and want to share their stories with us. It's always so inspiring to hear what other women are doing, how they're inspiring others and how they're contributing as well to women's leadership within Southampton. But before we hear from them, I wanted just to briefly reflect on my experience as a woman who's been leading the council for just over a year now. It's such a privileged position that I hold, and in the time I've had this role, it's been fascinating really to observe how women are in the city when it comes to leadership. So I've got some priorities that I want to achieve for Southampton. We're focused on regeneration and inclusive growth to enable the city and its residents to thrive. I want to address poverty and deprivation, which that growth will help us do. And I want to build community pride by celebrating our culture and our heritage and sharing it with the world. But I also want to ensure that I'm using this time that I have to advance the representation of women in the most senior leadership roles, because I have met so many inspiring female leaders in this city, and I have to say we saw so many of them projected onto our historic walls in the recent City Reflections exhibition. There were so many women being shown throughout that. We've got women working here in this building in education, health, the police and businesses that are leading the way. But what I really notice is the closer you get to the top, the less women that you are seeing in the room. And I have been in meetings where it is only me. I am the only woman who is there. And that's just women's representation, let alone the representation of any other diversity within this city, because those rooms are also very white. And that's something that we need to really be thinking about. And I'm having those conversations at a high level, is how do we ensure that everybody is attracted to those roles, so they're applying, and how are we able to support them to ensure that they are getting them. What I'm really excited about, though, is we are having a change at the top at Southampton City Council. We have appointed a new chief exec to lead this organisation, and that is a woman, Gillian Kay, who we'll hear from later. And that to me is a really exciting thing. And what I found even more exciting about that process is I only interviewed women for that position. That is what came through the shortlisting process. So we know that when the opportunity is there, that people will apply for it, but there has to have been something before to give people the courage to do so, so they see themselves in those positions. I wanted to highlight as well, apart from a contribution from Adrian falling over the chair, this event has been organised by women within this organisation, and that's really important that we are leading the way. Finally, I just wanted to say there is a standing reception. Please make it for asking for you to just write on a post-it note any women that you have really inspired you in your journey. Stick it up there, it will be there for a week. Also, it's a bit late now, but if you object to having your photo taken, probably now's the time to say. So we did forget to do that bit earlier. So I'm going to move on so that you don't hear from me, because I think people hear enough from me, and we start to hear from the women who have come to talk to us today. Gillian is going to speak to us first. So she's going to shortly join Southampton City Council as our Chief Executive Officer. She's joining from Bournemouth, Christchurch and Poole, and she's had a career that I think is going to add real value to us in the city.
Thank you, Lorna, and thank you so much for appointing me in the first place and for inviting me to this event. It is fantastic to be in Southampton today to celebrate International Women's Day with you all. It's a total privilege to be here and to be joining you as Chief Executive in April, and I'm really looking forward to it. I didn't start out my career with the ambition of being a local government chief executive. I'm not sure, if I'm honest, that anyone does. And in fact, I've only moved into local government in the last 5 years or so. I spent the first 25 years of my career working in central government in the civil service. I've worked for administrations across the political spectrum, including a period of coalition government in the Ministry of Justice, right at the centre of Whitehall in the Cabinet Office, and then more recently in the Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government. My motivation to join the civil service in the first place came in my final year at university. I studied law in Glasgow. You might still be able to tune in. There's a bit of a Scottish accent still there somewhere. And I studied law at Glasgow. And in my spare time, I volunteered in a citizens' advice bureau in a town in South Lanarkshire, near where I grew up. And in doing that work, volunteering, we help people in lots of different ways. We help people to navigate the benefit system, for example. We help people deal with housing issues and employment issues. And in doing that work, on top of my law studies, I saw the impact, good and bad, of policy decisions, of laws, and of public services. I saw the impact that those things have on people's lives. And instead of going on to private practice and becoming a lawyer, which had been my plan, instead I realised I wanted to be involved in shaping public policy, in influencing those laws and public services, and always with the ambition to make things fairer and to make life better for everyone. You might think that's the naive ambition of a 21-year-old and the 21-year-old self that I was, but it's still that ambition that gets me out of bed in the morning. It's still the ambition that led me to make a career move from the civil service into local government, where we hold so many levers and there is so much potential to make a difference for our communities. And it's the same ambition that I'll bring with me to Southampton, to work to deliver the council's vision and the council's ambitions for this great city, working with partners all across the city and always in service of our residents and of making things better. I want to say something about how it feels, as it's International Women's Day today. How does it feel stepping into a chief executive role as a woman? Well, I'm pleased to say, first of all, that there are more of us than there used to be, which is thanks to some of the encouragement and the initiatives that Lorna spoke about. A decade ago in local government, despite women making up 70% of the sector's workforce, only 33% of council chief executives were women. According to a study at the end of last year, some 50% of chief executives of Tier 1 councils, so councils like Southampton and Hampshire, were women. And I went to a briefing last week for new chief executives, and we were almost 50-50 male and female, almost there. One of the colleagues that I met is set to become the first female chief executive in her council's history. So there is lots to celebrate at the moment, and that's really, really important that we celebrate. But our theme today is accelerate action. And of course, there's still a lot more that we need to do and must do. While there are still women like my colleague achieving firsts for women, and of course, it's only in the last year that we've had the first female Chancellor of the Exchequer, the first female Lord Chancellor, there are still glass ceilings out there to be cracked and broken. There is still much, much more to do in local government and where I've come from in the civil service to make sure our workforces, especially at senior levels, are genuinely representative of the communities we serve. And while we've got younger generations out there who are losing trust in government and losing trust in democracy, it's really, really important, I think, that we advocate to people for careers in public service. I would recommend a career in public service to anyone. I've had the most fantastic experiences throughout my career, whether it's in central government or coming into local government. And I think there's a lot more we can do to break down the barriers to entry and to progression, and just to promote the sector and promote the really important and powerful work that we do. Because it's only by having a diverse and really inclusive workforce that we can hope to tackle some of the challenges that our communities are facing, whether that's health inequalities, climate change, or the housing crisis. These are not simple issues. And we'll only move forward if we can create a culture in which we have creativity and innovation, and a culture where everybody's contribution to that is valued. So my call to Accelerate Action today is, let's work together, all of us, to make sure that in Southampton, in the council, as an organisation, and in our partnership work, we're creating a culture where everyone can thrive and can do their best work for the residents, businesses and communities that we have here in Southampton. Thank you very much.
So, does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask Gillian before I invite her to sit back down again? Hello?
Yeah. Imposter syndrome, of course, absolutely, including, you know, today and in preparing for coming to this event. My youngest brother said to me when I got this role, and I have 3 brothers and they're all super supportive, so this was coming from a supportive place, but he said to me the other day, I still can't believe that you're going to be a chief executive. I still can't quite believe it, he said. And there's something about these words, isn't there, that is so powerful and so loaded at the same time. And sometimes these words and titles just create images in our head. And we find ourselves thinking, well, okay, I'm chief executive now. What does a chief executive look like? What outfit shall I wear to be a chief executive? And drowning out that voice in your head and talking it down and saying, well, a chief executive looks like me, because that's the job I've got, and so that's what I wear. So yes, absolutely. I don't think those voices ever go away completely. What I've found over the years is I just get better at arguing with my inner voice.
Just want to. I'd rather have a team meeting. Like when we said, really intimidated and also trying to how did I get to sit in this room? The high skill, high paying.
You're never just an NHS worker.
Yeah, I want to respond to something about walking into rooms first, and then I'll come back onto that one. So what you made me think of is a tip I had once in a course that I did, where they encouraged me to walk into rooms imagining that I was wearing a big skirt, and I still do that sometimes. There's something about taking up space, and if you just imagine yourself wearing a big skirt. You don't have to wear a big skirt. You can, but you don't have to. It causes you to just stand up and project yourself in a different way, and it feels different too. So try that next time. Try that next time. I'll be interested to hear how you get on. Yeah, initiatives that have worked over the years. I think it is about naming the issue and talking about it explicitly, and that active encouragement of people to put themselves forward for more senior positions. There's a lot of research and a lot of evidence that women and people from other underrepresented groups are less likely to just put themselves forward unless they're specifically encouraged to do so. But that piece of encouragement, whether that's through a talent development programme that is targeted, or whether it's through that individual encouragement, I'm very, very fortunate, and I know how fortunate I am, that throughout my career I've had really excellent line managers of different genders. But I've always had that sense of encouragement. And I think one of the things that I want to look at when I come to Southampton, along with the HR team and with the senior team, is, you know, how skilled are our line managers? Because some of that core basic management support, that line management relationship, I think can make a world of difference to people in their career. It certainly has in mine. So that's something that I'll be asking staff about and wanting to find out more about.
Thank you.
Okay.
I just want to echo what you said that actually about line management support, but just general support. If we all support each other in whatever in different ways, actually it does make a difference. It is why I'm here, because I've always had people supporting me, being behind me and encouraging me, and I've listened to that, and that's helped me grow in confidence. I like the idea of the big skirt. I used to wear heels all the time when I first became a cabinet member, even when nobody could see my feet in the chamber, because that gave me that projected confidence, and sometimes we need that. Actually now wear trainers all the time because that's what COVID did to me. But it's because I've learned that confidence, whereas before I did need that uniform to get it. So our next speaker, Jo Monteiro. Jo has been a foster carer for Southampton City Council for over 10 years. Being a foster carer has always been a dream for her, and she was lucky enough to meet somebody who shared her passion for helping others. Jo, would you like to come and share your story?
Thank you. Apologies for my voice. I have had nothing over the weekend, so we made it today. I've had lots of water. Thank you so much for inviting me this evening, and thank you for getting me out of cooking dinner. This is a million miles away from what I'm used to, so please excuse my nervousness. Yes, I'm Jo. I've been a foster carer for Southampton City Council for over 10 years now. I'm also Vice Chair for Southampton Foster Carers Association, which is a registered charity run voluntarily by carers within Southampton. And we fundraise to provide events, experiences and positive memory making opportunities to the children within fostering households. As you said, so my husband and I recently became Southampton first Mockingbird Home Hub Carers, which is a global award-winning pioneering programme led by the Fostering Network, and this sets out to deliver sustainable fostering. It's an evidence-based model structured around the support and relationships an extended family provides. The model nurtures relationships between children, young people and foster families, supporting them to build resilient and caring communities of 6 to 8 families known as a constellation. I think it's essential in all places of work to promote women and break gender stereotypes and have the pathway to build strength as well as support. And this year's theme of Accelerate Action enables us to promote women in children's services and accelerate gender equality, therefore improving opportunities for women and girls in the foster care system. Foster care always has been a dream of mine, and I was so lucky to meet my husband, who shared the passion for helping others. So as soon as we completed our biological family, began the process of becoming foster parents. Each visit we had and each training session we attended reinforced our desire to be carers. We opened the conversation with our children about fostering. Our children were really young, so all they wanted to hear was that they would have all children in the home to play with. Our children are now 16 and 12 and are our biggest strength. Their ability to be in tune with the needs of the young people that come into our home is incredible. Throughout our fostering journey, we have been lucky enough to have cared for over 80 babies, children and young people, most of which we are still in contact with. We have cared for babies as young as 3 days old, up to the age of 17, 2 weeks before she turned 18. All journeys look different and all the type of care varies from emergencies, respite, short-term, long-term. We have had the honour of care of younger children that have moved on to adoption, and some of our children have safely returned to the care of their birth families. Reflecting back on our first placement, Once we had completed the fostering assessment process, we were nervous, but yet excited. But we also carried that worry about what that child was going through. We questioned, were we going to be enough, and could we actually help them? But as soon as that, we knew that child began to settle and feel relaxed, that this journey was meant for us. Fostering can be referred to as a job, but I would say it's a lifestyle. We have made the most amazing connections and friendships within our fostering community, and being part of a team as we are in Southampton has given us a whole new network. We're so fortunate with the innovative, relevant training and resources we receive that enables us to be well equipped to handle the demands of foster care. We have also had our challenges, and some are easier to overcome than others, and being creative with our parenting styles and means of communication give us a gateway of successes, however big. It also comes with the most incredible rewards. Giving the children the freedom to play, be loved and accepted in a safe environment is such an honour. Watching them grow, reach milestones, develop, flourish into the best versions of themselves is an achievement for everyone. I remember one young person that we cared for, he was 15. We got the call and I said, yes, we were available. The lovely placement resource officer said, Jo, have a read of the referral first. So I did. Not the live referral was long, as was the risk assessment. He eventually arrived at 2:30 in the morning after a horrific ordeal and a really long journey. The next day I passed him in the hallway. He was running to his room from the garden where he'd been with the other children, and he was laughing. He said, I haven't laughed like this for 7 years. His social worker later confirmed that. He ran back past me, still laughing, but now clutching a Diabolo, which is one of the only possessions that we brought with him. It's my passion to be an active advocate for fostering and the incredible women I work alongside. It's changed our life for the better. I feel that we are celebrated in the fostering team, which helps us to become the most effective carers we can be. Foster care is traditionally a female-heavy profession. However, we are seeing an increase in male foster carers. I see established developing networks of female role models and advocates within fostering. I have made genuine friendships with truly inspirational women. As part of the sector, empowering our female and male carers, therefore creating role models within the family home and the system that we work within. Role models in fostering are essential to help demonstrate equality, show our vulnerable children the power of compassion, dedication and resilience. It's also about being safe people. I received a call 2 weeks ago when I was shopping in Asda. It was from a young person that was caught up in a situation that was really dangerous. He needed someone to help him make a plan, which I was able to do. That young person was only in our care for 3 days in 2022. My biggest role models have always been my parents. Thank you, Mum. So to be trusted in a primary carer role looking after children is a pure privilege, and is a privilege that I am grateful for every day. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for Jo? Can I have a tissue? Actually, that really, really moved me. I just thought it was really beautiful what you were talking about there. I just open the floor up to the questions.
It's really hard. Yeah, it is the most bittersweet moment that you can give. But when we move children on, especially to adoption, we are giving what I feel our children away. We have nurtured these children quite often from hospital, from when they're first born. So to love them and just have them under our wing for, 12 months, 18 months, 6 months, and then to say goodbye to them, you absolutely do go through the process of grief. But at the same time, you are giving mummy, daddy, and daddy, what they have always wanted. And, like I said, we're so lucky to be in a position that we're in contact with almost all of our children. So to watch them grow and know that you're a part of their journey is the most empowering and wonderful thing, and it's the most amazing gift that you can give. They are not our children to give, but you do feel that you are giving your children away, and that gift is amazing.
Really encouraging people to become foster carer. And what do you think you can do to a government to ensure that we're having more foster carers, so the government or the council, and changing laws and legislation to make sure people become foster carers?
So what we do is make sure that you all write your name and telephone number down on your way out so we can call you tomorrow. So I think word of mouth, I mean, I live a normal life. I go to the doctors, I do school runs, and you always meeting people. So what I can do is be that advocate and be that person that, you know, encourages people to open them questions within their family, but also point them in the direction of the foster carer team, because there are so many people that you can speak to get advice and tips. And it is, you know, the fundamentals are, if you have a spare room and, you know, a bit of childcare experience, if you've got that, then that's the foundation. Everything else comes on top of that. What I would say to the government is there needs to be more incentives. You know, there are some, but there definitely needs to be more. And listening to foster carers, listening to what their lifestyle is like, and listen to things that they need is probably the biggest word of advice I could give. Thank you, and apologies again for my voice.
So the next inspiring woman we have to speak to us today is Julianne Watling McCarthy. Julianne was born and raised in Southampton, and after studying in drama at drama school in London and working across the country, she settled back in her hometown and opened the Stage Door just there in 2015. It's an independent cabaret venue at the heart of the city, playing host to many shows, including live music, musical theatre, comedy, drag, burlesque, and more. Everybody should visit.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today as we celebrate International Women's Day. My name is Julianne, as Lorna said, and I run the Stage Door performance venue, and I'm also one of the founders and organisers of Southampton Pride. Today, I'm proud to stand with you to honour the strength, creativity and unstoppable spirit of women everywhere. Through my work in theatre, I've seen women take the stage, telling stories that move us, challenge us and make us laugh or cry. From the performers who light up our nights to the crew who make it all happen, women are the backbone of so much of that magic. And with Southampton Pride, I've watched women march with joy and courage, shaping a community where everyone belongs. These aren't just events, they're proof of what women can do when we're given the space to create, to lead, and to be ourselves. I've learned that every step forward counts. We've seen the incredible impact of empowering women from all walks of life, whether they're queer, trans, women of colour, or just navigating the world on their own terms. We must continue to ensure that these voices aren't just heard today, but every day. Pride is about more than just celebration. It's about inclusion, visibility, and creating a world where everyone, regardless of gender or identity, can feel safe, valued, and celebrated. So today, I'm asking you to join me in celebrating what it means to be a woman, and how we can lift each other up, mentor a young woman dreaming of the spotlight, amplify a voice that's been hushed, challenge the systems that hold us back, because when women rise, Southampton rises, the UK rises, and the world rises with us. But this day isn't just about what we've built, it's about the women who've paved the way, from the suffragettes who demanded a vote to the workers who fought for fair pay. For me, it's personal too. So when I think of my own journey, I think of so many women who have played vital roles in shaping how I think and feel. I can't help but think of first, most importantly, of my mum, someone who is fiercely strong, funny, and a hugely caring person, someone who stood by me my entire life and supported every hope and dream. And then next, my mind goes to my very first drama teacher, Mrs. Sander, who was an extreme force and taught me that my voice mattered, someone who cared about what I had to say. And I know I stand here today because of them and so many other strong and incredible women in my life who've helped me shape my mind over the years. Yet as we stand here today, even in 2025, we've still got work to do. In Southampton and beyond, women still face unequal pay, stereotypes and barriers to being heard. So this is an opportunity to reflect on the work that still needs to be done in the fight for gender equality, inclusivity and empowerment. We know that the journey isn't finished. For every woman who has made her mark, there are countless others whose stories remain untold and unheard. That's why it's so important for us to keep fighting for more opportunities, more platforms and more spaces where women can rise to the top, whether that's on stage, in leadership or in our communities. So as we celebrate today, I want to leave you with this. Let's continue lifting each other up. Let's continue creating spaces where women can be seen and heard. Let's commit to a world where every woman can live with pride and dignity, where her contributions are valued and where her dreams are limitless. Today, let us celebrate the past, embrace our power now, and build a future where every woman on our stages, in our streets, at our pride, can stand tall. Let's keep fighting for a world where all women, everywhere, are empowered and celebrated. Thank you.
Who would like to ask Julianne some questions?
Good.
You didn't get out of it that quickly.
Oh no, hands have gone up. Brilliant. So I think the inspiration came from the fact we'd opened the Stage Door venue and we were working with so many people from the LGBTQ plus community, and we had a lot of conversations over that first year of when we opened there. Why wasn't there a Southampton Pride? And then it followed the Orlando shootings at the Pulse nightclub. There was a vigil in the Guildhall Square, and there was quite a lot of discussion online about why Southampton didn't have a Pride. So a few of us just decided to meet up and have a chat about how we could do it, and we just tried one, and we had like 10 weeks to plan, and we had a small street party in Westmorelands Road, and it was incredible, and it just sort of grew from there. And this is 10 years now. Yeah. Yeah, I think for children and young people, it's just seeing what they can be. So I think the more culture, the more theatre, music, art that people could experience as a young person, the more they can see that, you know, there is value in that, there are career opportunities, there are pathways to that, even if it's not a career and it's just a hobby. Obviously, it enhances us as a person to experience that stuff anyway. So I think just taking young people and exposing them to those opportunities and those cultural events that happen in the city and elsewhere, I just think broadens their horizons from that perspective.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry.
How big this has become since the first weekend of last year? I know I've been promoting this event for a few years, and even I've seen it grow, and it just must impact you must see it has on the people of the city. It must be.
Yeah, I think it's incredible. We're a team of 6 volunteers who work year round to sort of deliver Pride, and I think now that we've moved to a 2-day event, it's a lot of work. It is 12 months of the year, and I think, you know, the thing we're most proud of is that it's a free event and that there's no barrier to entry for anybody, and just the fact that if you were a family walking past the event on that weekend and you wanted to come in and have a look and experience it, there's nothing to stop you. And I just think, yeah, what we've achieved is incredible, but that's also because we live in an amazing city and so many people support us, and you know, the partners and stakeholders that we work with, it wouldn't happen without them, but also everybody that comes to celebrate and protest and be part of the day. So yeah, very proud, but then so should everybody be that's involved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we have Sarah Filmer. Sarah is an artist, vet and educator. 3 practices bleed into each other and across each. She's interested in how we can live more equally and equitably across gender, species and socio-economic divides.
I don't know what a small skirt and flat shoes says about me, but I'm imagining I'm wearing a big skirt and heels. Thank you so much for inviting me to this. It made me wonder what difference I could make by being here today. And I decided that reflecting on my career in an entirely positive and optimistic way would be the best thing to do. One of the first ways in which I felt I had agency in the world was as an activist feminist artist. Those of you who know me know that I can't help but be pretty gobby sometimes. But speaking through artworks is a different way to have a voice, potentially a more effective and less socially unacceptable one for me. But when I think of all the amazing artists I know who are introverted and quiet in the world, they have an opportunity to speak through their work. As women, representation continues to be a challenging aspect of our lives in this patriarchal society. How we are seen is of disproportionate importance. So as a visual artist, addressing this feels key. To me, being an artist means taking every opportunity to support, elevate and amplify others, and use creative strategies to uncover, highlight and combat inequities. An artwork can bring unheard, oppressed or forgotten voices to the fore. In my Knit the Walls project, I worked with hundreds of Southampton residents over 7 years to knit a version of our medieval walls. Seemed like a good idea. Through our conversations, our wondering, and our millions of knitted stitches, we somehow gave voice to the everyday women who have always been part of the growth and development of this city, but whose stories had simply not been recorded. When I think about the progression of my career as an artist, I have to acknowledge 2 things. Firstly, that I came late to this as a way of working. I'm incredibly fortunate that my pre-existing veterinary career has supported my creativity both financially and conceptually. And secondly, that I was offered a teaching position at Solent University soon after I graduated from their amazing fine art programme. I never anticipated teaching as a career, but it has been the most enriching and exciting way to be an active and activist artist. Our cohort at Solent, and similar across most art schools, is 85% female, with the other 15% comprising gender non-conforming people and a few men, like really a few male students. In this role, I get to support these amazing young women to find their own creative voices. I try and share with them that being an artist is a way of living and a way of thinking critically as you move through the world. And you then take all that mental activity and content and you use it to fuel that compulsion you have to create. Overwhelmed by the enormity of the capitalist patriarchal structures in which we live, I choose to work in a hyper-local way, using the agency that I have in ways that can make a difference. As with all community-based initiatives, the power and importance of collaborative relationships cannot be overstated. And I think that's where sort of womanly tendencies, if such a thing exists, that seems a bit like a weird phrase. Yeah, this idea of collaboration is so, it's built into women. I'm now saying things that I don't actually believe. I think it's also built into lots of men. Anyway, shush now, that's extra. That just suddenly came to me. I started talking, I'm saying something I don't actually believe. But I think there's something really powerful about women collaborating with women. So yes, in terms of collaborative relationships, the importance can't be overstated. And this gives me an opportunity to thank all the lovely people who've supported me as I've worked in Southampton's creative ecology. Too many to name, you know who you are, many, many thanks. So who are the women who have inspired me? There's always been incredible women artists, although rarely remunerated or celebrated. There are so many strong and brilliant women alongside whom I live and work daily. I'm going to come right back to my family today. I'm going to take Julianne's lead here. My mum, Mo, was an amazing woman. She worked throughout my childhood, determined to give my sister and I the best chance in life by paying for our education. Whilst I may not share her ideals or approaches, local comprehensive for my kids, she modelled a level of strength and commitment that has inspired me, and I really miss her. And my other family inspiration is my trans daughter, Roxy. In a world that is confused and uncomprehending at best, and cruel and hostile at worst, she holds her head high, advocates for herself and others, and manifests the best of womanhood, where convention and construct give way to embracing individual choices and acceptance. Thank you, Rox. This year's International Women's Day theme, Accelerate Action, reminds us that social changes can be slow and can even start to reverse if we become complacent or stop remembering that the fight against gender inequity is one that continues. Feminism has not yet won. This T-shirt outlines the advantages of being a woman artist. It's a piece of artwork. It's a beautiful list, a satirical list by the Guerrilla Girls that they made in 1988, 37 years ago. Some elements of the art world, and perhaps the wider world, have changed since then. But it can change faster, and it will, as each of us acts on our ongoing responsibility to take action whenever and wherever we can.
Who would like to ask Sarah a question?
What does it say? It says the advantages of being a woman artist. And then there's a list of 10 things. The first one is working without the pressures of success. And it's just you can read it later. It's always funny when people read it because they suddenly realise about halfway down that they're just staring at my boobs. But yeah, it's well worth looking up as a sort of a very sort of enlightening sense of how the art world treats women. Yeah.
So something Sarah did last year, she has her second year students had an exhibition in Guildhall Square, didn't they?
Yes, opening again on the 28th of March this year.
And I kept going back and looking at this one picture that I loved. And so I asked to buy a copy of it. And this poor, amazing young woman artist didn't have a clue what to charge for it, did she? And you really supported her to make sure that she negotiated a good price with me. And I have that still hanging up in my office. But I did have to say to her, she said, would you like it framed? And I had to say, you frame it, you lose all your value because it costs about 50 quid to frame everything.
Yeah.
And but it's that's how we support others by saying, actually, this is how you behave in that space. Yes, your art is worth something, because she had no concept of value whatsoever, and she didn't sign it either, so I had to get her to sign it as well. But she would never, if she only negotiated with me, she'd have got a tenner.
Donna, that's shameful on your part, my friend. It's up to us to recognise the value of others as well, right?
Exactly. So, but it was about her not recognising the value of her art, but you helped her recognise the value of her art, and she got paid properly for her art, and it hangs in my office and will remain there when I'm in that office.
It's one of her proudest moments to this day.
Oh, that's lovely. Any other questions, Sarah? The next person we have to speak is Tia Binstead. Tia is the Managing Director of Community Interest Company based in Southampton, which is using surplus food to create home-cooked meals. It's really amazing. We did some filming there late last year as part of some funding that we got, which Tears organisation was able to take advantage of and use very, very well.
I don't know whether I need to tiptoe or not. So, there we go. Thank you. I've had about 4 coffees and like 1 slice of corned beef, so I apologise now, and I've never done this before. Good evening. My name is Tia Binstead. I'm a proud first-time mum to my wonderful little boy and a proud owner of a small social enterprise called Easy Teasy Meals CIC. During the start of lockdown 2020, I was approached by my mum, pictured with me today, good mum, to help create meals for a few vulnerable people, some frontline workers, some isolated family, about 10, 11 people, using surplus food from a local charity. As a trained chef and eager to help workers during this uncertain time, I jumped at the opportunity. We were on our mission to reach out to our community, tackle food poverty and isolation during that time. 18 weeks later, with almost 4,000 meals made and donated, I thought to myself, oh, this is much bigger than its original purpose. This mission gave me a new exciting goal in life, and with the support of my partner, family, I quit my big girl job, and in July 2020, Easy Teasy Meals was born. Easy Teasy Meals is a CIC social enterprise where our vision is to build a team with the confidence to utilise leftovers, confidently cook and fight food waste before it goes to landfill, to empower our team with life skills and to provide food security to the community. We work with local food surplus charity to gather the food that would have otherwise gone to landfill. We operate out of a local board game cafe, board in the city, thank you Mum again for all of that, where our rent goes into helping several other charities, CICs. We provide work placement opportunities for those with additional needs and barriers. We create weekly menus to cater to a wide variety of diets, such as vegan, low carb, gluten-free, as well as providing professional catering services to the community, such as our Christmas meal for the elderly, workplace functions and other catering opportunities. It wasn't all like this. The start of my catering career started like any other chef. I was 19 and pushed to the kitchen front line as a head chef as everyone else had quit. As a heavily male-dominated area, I thought I had to be angry and aggressive to get my way and show people I meant business and wasn't just a little girl who could be pushed over. As time went on, I helped open up the kitchen for my mum's cafe. This anger and rudeness continued, and this wasn't how I wanted to be, for myself or my family. A quick job jump and a bit of growing up, I turned back to my family and realised why I wanted to get into kitchens originally. The love that was felt during family gatherings, the patience of my family whilst teaching me how to cook, and the excitement of creating food for the people around me. That's what I wanted. And that's where I changed to become the person I am today, for my team, my family, and for my future. Now, as we approach our 5-year birthday, I can now confidently and proudly say, I could act more confident, but I'm just trying to read, confidently and proudly say I've become a first-time employer and our first apprentice, a girl who had originally left school at 13 due to bullies, with no previous qualifications, will be approaching her 21st birthday with her level 3 catering qualification to a distinction level. We now create over 150 meals a week, with at least 10 to 15% of those meals being donated, and in the years of 2020 to 2023, we accrued over 10 tonnes of surplus food, or 5.5 giraffes if you need a mental visual. And with a recent grant we were rewarded, an impact statement that has stayed with me so far was an anonymous customer telling me they have stopped considering suicide thanks to our meals. Thank you so much for listening to my story, and I look forward to feeding you soon.
Who would like to ask Tia some questions about her amazing CIC? Dang it. I've got two at the back.
Hello again.
I just like the ratio in I think quite proud and brave in fact that quite often the ideas that you're people when you put them are too busy. You at the agree partnership meeting with your people, which I thought was incredible.
Thank you.
Would love to hear your side of it. Anything you might learned or just observed from that, and how important it is to be for yourself.
I think because I've never done this before, I've had no preconceived thoughts of bringing my son to meetings. So I think at the time, the first one, he must have been about 3 or 4 months old. So I had a month off for my maternity with my volunteers taking it over. And then I sort of stepped back into my role whilst he was sort of a month and a half. No one said anything. Everyone's sort of gone, oh, he's so well behaved. I think, yeah, because everyone around me has been so lovely and welcoming, and being able to introduce him to the community has really given that wonderful impact. And this is just very normal. So I don't know if that answered that, but anyone can order them. So, for example, you can get 5 of my meals, £15, little plug there. Menu's up right now if anyone's hungry. So just as a,
It's a delivery model, isn't it?
yeah, so anyone can order it. But, sort of like Meals on Wheels meets Ready Steady Cook meets me in a kitchen going, yeah, that'll work. But we also do sort of corporate commercial catering as well. So if you need anything for businesses and things like that, that will be the model in which the higher prices are involved and anyone can order them. That means we can pay my now not apprentice, which I still don't know what to call her. She only qualified like 2 weeks ago. Be able to offer level 2 food qualifications to any volunteers, gets food back into the community. So,
And maybe enable you to pay yourself.
we'll get there eventually.
Let's say it happened to me, but when I've been to politics, so there'd be other meetings where I'm and another colleague, she gave birth and she wasn't at breastfeeding. And I'm going back. Okay, there's nobody that's had a woman at the time, there's nobody being asked to see if that's acceptable or not.
Yeah,
But
to
she
let go.
has to sit with that, she has to have a baby that someone outside. And that's just, things need to change. It was almost like more of a man's world then, but he's going to politics. And they didn't really know what to do. Yeah. And that we would find it.
Oh, I'm absolutely privileged in what I'm able to do. Right. So I am again employed by my mum. So just keep plugging in there. So I think with what I do, I wouldn't be able to be the mother that I am to my son without this. So the fact that I take him to work with me, mum will watch him as he pegs it around the cafe, trying to run over everyone's toes in his little walker, as you both saw, as he's shouting whilst we're trying to record things for the council. Being able to just say to my team, hey, I'm just going to go off for half an hour because I'm just going to feed my son because I know he's going to fall asleep. So I'll just sit in the office whilst they continue their prep and they're happy with that. So yeah, I think if it was in my previous big girl job, so, you know, a supervisor in a local Delhi hotel, I wouldn't have been able to have that opportunity. So, and he's going to be 1 next month as well, which is just, yeah, he is.
You know, I think what we do is amazing. I'm really privileged to work with you. Fantastic. And I just wondered what your vision is for kind of, you know, the future by this time. We love to see you're able to impact.
I've not thought that far ahead. No. I love doing what I do. I love being able to feed all these people. I love having my wonderful team of volunteers around me to be able to teach all of these young kids with additional needs and things. You know, it's not only about cooking, right? It's about almost integrating into a workforce and being able to work with other people, which they have to sort of have those barriers and things. I think I'd love to carry on doing that. I'd also love to be able to get more commercial catering as well, because that gives such a broad scope to our volunteers and any other apprentices I end up having. I think just bigger, better, stronger. Yes, please. Amazing. So between myself and Board in the City, so I operate out of Board in the City, which is, I say, the original CIC, to which myself and my sister ended up coming up with our own social enterprises. Between the three of us, we're offered to do the workplace things. We can offer a variety of experiences. So it'll be cooking with me, it'll be games mastering and front of house work with Board in the City. They get a little bit of physical health training as well with a little Pilates session. So yeah, it'd be great to do all of that.
Thank you. Before I bring on my final speaker, I actually want to address Sally's point actually about if you're elected and you have children, because there is no standard route for maternity and paternity leave. We at the council, we have adopted the local government association's maternity paternity policy, and that is really great. But actually the rules of the council in terms of how they pay allowances for various positions, if you're a committee chair, if you're a cabinet member, if you're leader of the council, we're actually only able to pay those once. So if I did decide at this late age that I wish to become a mother, I wouldn't actually be able to take paternity leave and have any element of pay through that in the way that others do. So there still remains a real barrier for women entering politics in order to be able to have a family and continue in leadership roles. And that's something that we all as politicians should be really arguing with government for, that as they look to do more with local government, they respect us more and enable us to do the things that we need to do in order to live those lives that other people are able to live at the moment. Anyway, it's enough about me and politics. We have our final speaker coming up, which is, Bria. Is that okay, pronunciation? Thank you. I knew I was never going to get it right, and I do apologise. From Mumbai, India, and holds dual bachelor degrees, one in engineering and another in music performance and production, which is such a beautiful marrying of two different disciplines together. And she's the Vice President of Education at Solent Student Union and the only female officer on the team. Please come and share your story.
I come with a different accent, so you can take a break from the British accent right now. So thank you, Lorna, for providing me with this opportunity and this platform. I think, like somebody said, 12 years from now, there was the only female councillor. So I don't think this would have been happening 12 years before now as well. So good evening, everyone. And before I begin, let me start with a little joke, because I think women can be funny, and I would want to actually remove that thing from here. So please do laugh. Because if there's one thing women know how to do, it is multitasking. I've seen women juggle everything together. And they say that behind every successful woman is a group chat hyping her up. And the to-do list 3 pages long. And of course, at least one person in the room mansplaining something that she already knows. But in all seriousness, it is truly an honor to be here today, standing among such powerful, inspiring women. I want to take a moment to thank all our incredible speakers, Gillian, Jo, Julianne, Sarah, and Tia. I am the least experienced person over here, and everyone has at least 10 to 25 years of experience, and I think I have a lot to learn from here. So maybe in 25 years, I would have a really good speech like I had, like you all had from yours. Reading about your journeys has been nothing short of inspiring, and I feel privileged to be in this room. Learning from each one of you. What you're doing is amazing and absolutely amazing. I may be the least experienced here, but I know the spaces where every voice matters. And today I am really, really proud to share mine. The past 10 months as VP, the Vice President Education at Solent Students Union, has been an incredible journey. One that has pushed me far beyond my comfort zone. Some days I have felt productive, unstoppable, and other days I have felt completely overwhelmed. But what has kept me going is knowing that my work matters, ensuring student voices are heard, sitting at the table as a woman leader, and speaking up without being dismissed as too sensitive or being told to just calm down. I wouldn't be here today without the people who have supported and inspired me, my friends, my parents, my boyfriend, but just as importantly, I wouldn't be here without my own failures and my own struggles. There has been times when I've been ignored, walked over, and made to feel left out. And it is so easy to feel invisible, especially as an international woman speaker. Firstly, as a woman, we often fight harder to be heard. Secondly, as an international woman, the challenge I can feel even greater navigating different cultures, expectations, and sometimes feeling like an outsider. But I know I'm not alone in this. I'm sure every woman in this room, everyone sitting here single, has that voice in their head, the one that whispers, you are no one, you cannot do this. But here's the thing, that voice, that doubt within you, that has, I think, exactly what pushed every one of you to go ahead and prove it wrong every single time. It's what helped me become the VP of Education and now re-elected as VP of Communities and Wellbeing. Because when the world tells us we don't belong, only the strongest person and the strongest mind can show up anyway over there. This year's theme, Accelerate Action, is a reminder that our work is far from over. Progress doesn't happen when we stay quiet. It happens when we take every challenge, every doubt and every barrier and turn them into fuel for change. So today I stand here proud, not just my journey, but all of us. I have seen enough dedication from women standing here. Somebody does not have a proper voice, still dedicated enough to come here and talk. And I am really proud of everything. I think your mom would be proud as well. I would have brought my mom here, but it's too expensive to bring her here all the way back from India. But I really love like how everyone has brought their mom or the female friendships, friends in their life over here to look at what their journey has been throughout so far. The ones who kept going, the ones who lifted others up, and the ones who never let the doubt win. Thank you all, and I think let's keep accelerating this action together. Thank you.
Our last round of questions. I will ask, what next for you? Because you're at a stage in your life where there will be a what next that you'll be actively thinking about at this moment.
So I have, like, I'm a sabbatical officer till 2026, but side by side, I have studied music as well. I'm a singer as well, and I've studied production as well. And I think production is something as a male-dominated field, so I do want to become a women producer as well. So yeah, side by side, that's what I'm doing right now.
That's absolutely brilliant. Other questions?
That was absolutely, I know you said you didn't feel as though you had much experience studies, but I wouldn't have known. So I feel like we need to say that. What do you love the most about being a PhD student?
The thing that I love the most is when the students come to me with their issues, there is someone that I can help. There is someone that they can feel that is there to help them. For example, like if they feel intimidated just to go to the university directly, we have it's like a liaison bridge where I can actually advocate for them, academic issues or anything. Even if I'm the VP of Education, I do say to a lot of people that you can come and talk to me like anything. So it's kind of that thing where I can just be, like a therapist for students kind of thing, yeah.
How do you find a big university outside of within that space? So there is
it feels a bit daunting, not going to lie. Because when people talk about finance and numbers, it bounces over my head. But like one of my board of governors, Kathy, is over here, so she might know me. But it really feels daunting. But it's just like, I think it's a matter of not second guessing yourself. Like I said, not second guessing yourself ever and not letting that voice inside your head win. But just like, I know that other people are more experienced, but they have come from that step anyways. So I think it's just about not second guessing yourself and just like putting yourself forward and asking the questions that feels so scary. That's it, I think.
Any other questions? I won't talk for very long. We're at the end of the session. I'm really grateful to people to come and share such amazing stories, be amazing role models. And actually something that always excites me is when I find role models who are much younger than me, because I think everybody at every life stage is really inspiring. We all have something to take from that. And I think the thing that was really strong today, which I haven't heard so much in our previous days, actually was a lot of family an awful lot of family was talked about. I thought it was really beautiful. We have more tea and cakes and time for chit chat. If you want to stay, I'll be around and about. Other people will be around and about. Thank you for coming and listening. Thank you for coming and speaking. I'll see you all next year. Not like that. Oh, can
Not like that.